All righty. So welcome again to the official iGEM Latvia 2023 info session. This is for the first of the events in preparation for the national iGEM team for this year. This is the second year iGEM has been in Latvia. So last year were the trailblazers. I can see some people who were applying last year are interested still, which is really cool. And to all of you, thank you so much for your interest. So let's start without further ado. A couple of words about who's behind this. So my name is Andriy. I'm originally from Tallinn. I hang out in Riga most of the time these days. And I'm one of the founders of the Biocatalyst Foundation, which is an NGO with a focus on the Baltic states, which helps evolve the biotech ecosystem in the region. And we do that through a number of activities. And I don't know if you see the photos as well, the videos as well. Okay, I'll do it like this. We do through a number of activities, including events, work with talent, supporting startups, and of course, producing analytics. And today we'll be speaking about the initiative of iGEM specifically. And we'll cover the basics of iGEM, which I think you probably are familiar with since you're here. But let's just go over it one more time. We will talk a bit about the actual iGEM experience from the horse's mouth, as they say in Britain. So there, I can see that there are a couple of people from the last year's team joining the session. Hey guys, so you will be able to ask them questions as well. So we'll have a Q&A, and then very briefly about the next steps that will follow. So 40-50 minutes is probably an overstatement. We'll try to do it shorter. Let's dive in. And before we do that, a couple of words about why we're doing this, especially for those. So we've seen quite a few applications with backgrounds, with people with backgrounds other than biotechnology or biology. So I think a very short explanation is due as to why this is significant. So biotechnology might seem like a niche, which is mostly concerned with producing new medications these days, right? But it's much more than that. And smart people have been calling it the bio-revolution, and I'll tell you why in just a second. The basic tenet of biotechnology is using living systems to create value. And those can be molecules, those can be cells, those can be organisms. Wherever we look, we are surrounded by living technology. It's been around for 4 billion years, and it's gotten pretty complex. So basically, you know, when science fiction writers mentioned nanotech, they probably thought about some kind of metallic robots, but we have nanotech all around us and inside us. And it's all of biology. It's basically manipulating matter with the precision of a single atom. But you can do that not only with a couple of atoms, you can do that at any scale. You can do that at the scale of the Earth. So you might guess that this is pretty big. If we can master that, we can do a lot of things. And the thing you see on the picture here is a motor made of molecules, which exists in every one of your cells right now, and it's producing energy as you breathe. And it's literally an electric motor made of molecules. So things like that are possible with biotech. We just need to kind of learn how to use it better. And that's what humanity is doing right now. For those of you familiar with the Moore's law, which is the way computers get cheaper and better over time, they have been for the last 30 to 40 years. Here you can see the green line, which is the genome sequencing costs. So the amount of money that it costs to read one human DNA. And you can see that it's been falling much faster than the Moore's law. So it's a hyper exponential curve. This graph is not linear, so it's already exponential. And this thing is exponential on an exponential graph. And this year, if we compare it to 2021, it's already 10 times cheaper than 2 years before. And it's getting cheaper. This is one of the foundational technologies. And when something is changing so rapidly, you can expect some huge things when it becomes available on a massive scale, just like the internet has changed everything when computers became available to everyone. Just some of the things that new companies and startups have been doing with biotech these days. So those are all examples of things that are being worked on right now or being brought to the market right now. You can have meat, milk, and other products without using any animals, without killing any cows or pigs. You can have vaccines from diseases which were incurable just 60 or 70 years ago. You can cure a lot of cancers. You can store information in DNA and make computers out of molecules. You can make almost any chemical from CO2 emissions, which is really neat, especially given the current state of our atmosphere. You can have buildings that repair themselves. So it's far beyond medicine. It's far beyond just drug discovery. It's a huge field. It's basically anywhere that you wanna work with individual molecules to create something valuable, you can work with biotech. And against this background, iGEM has been exploring the biotech agenda for a couple of decades already. It is one of the biggest biotech communities in the world. It is the biggest biotechnology competition in the world. It's originating from the US, and the basic idea is that people come into teams and they solve real-world problems using synthetic biology. They compete against each other, but it's a friendly competition. So in the end, everybody benefits, of course, and the winners get gold medals, which is a nice touch. It's a huge community. So if we look at the numbers, more than 40,000 people worldwide have been part of iGEM. So it's a huge but really closely knit community. And if you're a part of this, then you have a huge network of connections automatically around the world, not only in biotech but also in other disciplines. Each year, about 7,000 people participate, and they meet in autumn in Paris for the so-called Grand Jamboree, which is the main conference where all the teams come and present their works and get prizes. So last year was the first time Latvian team has been a part of iGEM. We at the Biocatalyst Foundation are happy to have been helping set up the iGEM infrastructure here in Riga. And about 20 people were involved. They've kind of tested the ground. They went to Paris with their project. They had a lot of fun, I think. And the project was pretty neat, and it had more than 30,000 euros budget. So it's like a mini startup. It's just an interesting thing in terms of the skills that you develop when you do that. So what will you do if you become a part of iGEM? First, you will work on developing an idea and your possible solution to an idea. And we will look at a lot of examples later on in later sessions. So it might be anything that is worth solving using biology. And as you just saw, there are a lot of problems that can be solved using biology, not just medical problems as well. You find financing for the team. to sponsor your consumables, your trip to Paris, etc., etc. So it's a project with its own budget, and you work on implementing the project, and then you present your findings at the grand finale in Paris in the autumn. That's the basic idea. Be prepared to contribute actively for around half a year, or probably closer to 8 months to the project. So if you feel like you do not have the capacity or the willingness to do that, it's probably better to not join. So this is a medium-term project. It's for half a year. Be prepared to take an active role. So the team will not be huge. So everybody will be doing their part. And of course, be prepared to learn and to be a good team player. That's quite obvious, but still warrants being spelled out. What's in it for you, right? So first of all, it's the skills. As already mentioned, there are a lot of things that happen during iGEM, and it's not only working in the lab. In fact, lab work is just a part of the experience, but you'll work a lot in a team. And that's pretty nice, because some of the things that that you learn during those bigger projects, they don't really teach at universities, or tend not to. But you do get also lab experience if you wish. Of course, not all of the team members will be working in the lab, but those who would like to and who have the capacity to do that will perform the actual experiments. There will be fundraising, so be prepared to polish your presentation skills and your negotiation skills. And of course, you will need to communicate the results of your project to various stakeholders. So it's a neat exercise in marketing and PR. So many skills are a real boost to any resume, but it's not just about the skills. Of course, it's also about having iGEM as one of your experiences. It's a trademark. Everybody who is somehow involved with biotechnology knows about iGEM around the world. So you will be instantly recognizable and instantly differentiable between among your peers, because you have participated in iGEM. So it's a league of its own. You will definitely meet quite a few cool people along the way, that I can guarantee you. And of course, you will learn a lot of new things about what's happening in biotech right now and why this thing is called a revolution by huge consulting companies like McKinsey and Boston Consulting Group. You will not do it alone, of course. So we've kind of spent last year setting up the support infrastructure for the iGEM team. So of course, there's the previous year's iGEM team who is happy to help. And yours truly, I will be guiding the team along the way. And we have awesome mentors and supervisors. I'll mention here Anna Stikane from the Microbiology Institute of the University of Latvia. Anna has been a part of the global iGEM evaluation or judging team. So she knows quite a few things about successful iGEM projects. And Jānis Liepiņš, from the same organization, has loads of knowledge in biotechnology, especially what pertains to lab work. And there's access to other people who can help you along the way, not only in terms of the theory and practice of biotech, but also in finance, marketing, and project management. And now, if we still have people from iGEM 2022 team together with us, how do I check that? Okay, I can see some people. I can see Jans, I can see, I saw Rainis, I think.
Yeah, hi.
Hey guys. So just to make sure that this is not just a, dry lecture from myself, it's really cool to have people from the pioneering Latvian iGEM team here with us. And I will not ask you, and we have Udis joining as well. I will not ask you to just like tell a few words about your experience, because I always I don't like open-ended questions myself. But one question that I could ask you is, what is how did iGEM change you, if at all, in a significant way?
Well,
or maybe you remain
myself, if I can be the first one.
Sure.
So you said about how iGEM requires you to become an expert, or at least more familiar with fundraising, experiments, like experiment planning, also project management. For me, the biggest skill I got was wet lab experience, because a lot of my studies were remote due to COVID, and I study biotechnology. So this is my field, but I was really lacking in lab experience, and that showed the first times I went to do some experiments for the iGEM project, and it was disastrous. But after half a year of work, I've been able to perfect my PCR skills, working with microorganisms, and I've really gained a good base knowledge of just wet lab work, which I think is the main kind of good thing I got from iGEM. That is really like, yeah, just expertise and knowledge that I will use for the rest of my life if I continue doing science.
Thanks, Jens. To spice things up, sorry?
No, nothing.
Yeah, maybe you wanted to go as well. I just had another question I just thought up right now. Like, was there something that you didn't really expect from iGEM that you did gain, hopefully in a positive way?
Well, I did not know I would be that involved in fundraising. I wanted to do experiments mostly, and it was frustrating at times, but it was also really exciting to, after not that much work, receive an email that says, oh, you have received 8,000 from the Latvian University Student Council grant, which was like a real big realization that, oh, if you have a good idea and if you try hard enough, you can actually get funding for your research. And that was one thing I did not know I could do before. And that was not the only like surprise that we got with regards to funding, but it was the first one where I realized that, oh, we just got almost 10,000 euros just like that. And we can use it for research. That was really cool.
That was definitely a great moment. Sorry, Reinis, I think I interrupted you when you were unmuting.
Yeah, I wanted to add to Jan's, like I agree with everything he said, but I think it's been kind of a reality check for us because yeah, in the lab, you maybe in the studies, you do something in the lab and everything goes as expected, but when you're like on your own in the lab, you really understand what skills are you lacking, and you really get to test out your communication skills, and both with your teammates and other teams, iGEM teams from other countries, and as well your marketing skills, how much funds you can raise, and yeah, it's been a reality check for me.
That makes sense. What was your last question, not to drag it out. Like, what was your biggest memory from Paris, apart from all the wine? No memories apart from the wine.
Yeah, for me it was meeting the Israeli team, because we collaborated with them throughout the summer, and we talked a lot, but never met in person until Paris. And when we met all of them, it was like meeting an old friend, how but we hadn't met previously.
Nice, thank you. We also, I think I saw Anna Stikan and Jens Levin here with us. And I think I also saw Taus, right? I saw Taus Yukna, who is who is going to be the team principal investigator. If anyone wants to like add something, please feel free.
I think I'm gonna add a few words. Just from the judging side, Andrei said that you're competing with other teams. You are competing with other teams, but the main competition actually in iGEM is you competing against yourself, how much you can push forward and how much you can achieve. Because for the most teams that do go and reach for gold medals, there's quite a lot you have to do in the lab for the science, but also for the kind of the human side of the project. So that basically is world is your oyster of like how you can bring your science and your idea to the wider community within Latvia, within society, which is very interesting. Some of the other teams who I've judged last year, they organize like a theater plays for like synthetic biology and stuff like that. So basically it's a lot of like creative process that can go on in there as well, not just the lab work, and actually is very much encouraged. So it can be very, very interesting as well in that side. And the other part that I wanted to say, iGEM community, the global community is a very, very, very huge resource. That is something that is very useful to be kind of tapped into, like the global Slack, where you can kind of reach people, the different teams within the large iGEM ecosystem, not just the other teams that participate, because you can collaborate and learn a lot from them and solve a lot of like problems. I know there's I think team from Africa who collaborated with a team in UK to just send some samples and get some data analysis because it was kind of available. So yeah, the iGEM community and reaching them and learning and interacting with them, I think it's a very, very, very great experience. So I strongly encourage. It's a good experience.
Thanks, Anna. All right. So
I can say, I will just
please.
say a few words. So I'm more on organizer side. I'm from Riga Technical University, and the program director from Riga Technical University in biotechnology, bioengineering study program. So my task is actually to kind of trying to bring more students in biotech. And I think this is a great opportunity for you, and it's good that so many students from our program have been applying and managed to go there and perform, I think, pretty well. So I think it's very important that you spread the word also to the next group, which is now. I think many of new students would be happy to hear your experience, and then and make the biotech more available and popular in Latvia. Especially, I think it's a great advantage that you are connecting to the world community of biotech guys. So this is something you should really use maybe in future. trying also find new connections when you are there in Paris. And also it's a kind of benchmark for you to see, how much do you know comparing with the files from other countries. So I'm just encourage you to really be open for new ideas, trying new connections, and hopefully to get some good places for Latvia this time as well.
Thanks so much, Talis. So before we get to the Q&A, I think I'll change the sequence, and I'll first tell you a bit more about what will happen next, so that I'll probably cover some questions right now. And then if anybody has any questions in the moment, we can still discuss them. Otherwise, we are always available via email. And you can, of course, ask us anything, anytime. So this is the timeline of iGEM. Basically, spring is all about the preparation. Summertime is about the meaty stuff, the work on the project. And then in the autumn, you finalize and you go to Paris for the Grand Jamboree. Looking at the spring, or rather, I would say winter in the Baltics, what will happen next is that we'll start with getting to know each other and forming the team. And then the brainstorming will begin. So the iGEM team will need to come up with ideas for the project. The ideas will be presented to a evaluation commission or a jury. And the best idea will be this year's official iGEM Latvian team's idea. And April is the deadline for applications. Since it's an American competition, which is a global thing, but it originates from the US, it's pretty strict on deadlines. So the team will need to submit their application and registration fee by the end of April, and then the work will start. So zooming in again, what will happen next is that we will have an in-person kickoff event in the middle of the month, in the second part of the month probably. There will be a bit of an ice breaking. You will need to prepare one slide about yourself and about an iGEM project from the past that you thought was exciting. And we will be splitting into a couple of groups, which each will be working on a specific, we'll be looking for ideas, and we'll be working on presenting one of their ideas to the commission. And of course, you will get an email from us with detailed instructions as to what happens next, probably tomorrow in the morning. And we will meet in person quite soon. So with that, I think that's all the information that I wanted to convey during this short kickoff, short info session. And wanted to ask you if anyone has any questions right now. You can unmute yourself, or you can write it in the chat.
I have one short question about the recording, because my friend asked me the last days, where will it be available? She was not able, unfortunately, to attend in person.
You mean the recording of this session?
Yes, precisely.
It takes a while for Zoom to parse the video and for YouTube to publish it, but I'll do it probably tonight. So tomorrow morning, I hope that you'll have the link already.
So on YouTube.
It's going to be a video on YouTube, and I'll send you the slides as well.
Yeah, thank you.
There's something in the chat. Okay. What is the participation fee? It's free of charge. So this is not a commercial project. We're doing this pro bono. So it's completely free of charge. And to stress it out again, we encourage everyone to participate, not only people with biology or biotechnology experience, because as you've seen, there's plenty of work outside the lab to do in the team. And it's pretty much like a startup. You need all sorts of experience in a startup. So no fee for participation, but what you will be doing is asking others for money. So you will need to create a budget for the team during those 6 months when you work on the project. And that will be kind of your bounty. That will be the money you will spend on the project and on going to Paris and on other things connected to the iGEM experience. If I can add,
sorry,
yes.
if I can add to clarify, there is not an individual participation fee for members of the team, but the team itself together has to pay the larger iGEM. So we're all working here pro bono, but we do need to fundraise to pay the fee to large iGEM for our participation in the competition and to go to the iGEM Jamboree as well. So that's a clarification.
Yeah, I think that makes more sense if you put it this way than what I said. Thank you. So if I cannot attend physically, what should I do instead? So we'll focus on, hopefully, we'll focus on in-person participation, barring any unforeseen pandemics or the like. So if you can only do it remotely, you can still join the events and see if it's working for you. And if it does, we'll try to accommodate as many interests as possible. But most of the focus will be on physical participation, especially if you want to be a part of the team which does lab work. That's pretty much right now in 2023, you still don't have so many remote labs, so you'll need to do some physical work in a physical lab. Any other questions? I think that's it for the chat so far. All right. Either it was quite clear, or maybe it's very confusing. Probably it's both. And I know the feeling. So what's going to happen next is that we'll send you the recording of the session to share with anyone who hasn't been able to join. I will also send you the deck, probably the slides, and in the next message, in the next email, we will share the first in-person kickoff details and the preparation that you will need to do for the event.